If I don't know if people are listening to this who have kids,
Yeah.
we have wrestling throughout the city. So not just at that facility at Midway. We are in partnership with University of Chicago using their wrestling room in Hyde Park. These are major partners of ours. So these are major sites. We're at the old Gordon Tech facility in the cafeteria in partnership with DePaul Prep.
Wow.
We use their cafeteria, and we're starting a new program at Taft High School in Norwood Park. But we also have neighborhood clubs. We run a whole league in Chicago Public Schools at 20 different schools. So there's a lot of opportunity for to get kids on the mat and get them into our programming. And our programming is what I'm most proud of. We haven't talked about it, but I think we're the best in the business in sports-based youth nonprofit in Chicago.
Well, let's expand. Yeah, I mean, we have a couple more minutes for sure. And yeah.
So, we just hired Alex Magical, who's 2 or 3 times. He's a 3-time NCAA qualifier, at Division I NCAA qualifier. Wrestled for me, was a state finalist for me. If I could have ever chosen one kid that I coached to come back and coach with us, it was Alex Magical.
Awesome.
And so we recruited him hard. We gave him a second, so he's working part-time in the office, but he's also coaching with us. He's going to run the Avondale location. We brought in Rochelle, who is the best wrestler from the city of Chicago in the last, 20 years, 2-time state champ, was 3rd in the U.S. Open in Greco at Illinois, just graduated from Illinois. He's coaching with us at Hyde Park. Mike Boyd is a Southwest Side legend. It was the athlete of the decade in the Chicago Tribune. He's also probably the best builder of culture and community of any coach I ever coached with at Oak Park. And I coached with some incredible coaches. But in terms of like the big picture, building community, building culture, that's why I went after him. He's also a minority from the South Side who grew up in the neighborhood where our facility is, right down the street.
Perfect.
So he runs our facility. Alexis Rivera, who was a city kid, brother went to prison, and he got picked out of the hallways by a coach at Weber on the west side. Weber's closed now, it's a Catholic school. And 3 years later won the state championship. So Alexis is old school tough, and he's a great coach. So we have gone after and paid people in a way that a for-profit club would.
Right.
But they have exclusively coached with us because we are not for profit, and we are not against that model, but we are the antithesis of that model. Because what's happening is the great programming is moving to the burbs for kids who have a mom with a minivan and $1,800 or $2,000 a season, right? This is geographically and financially accessible, outstanding programming, the equivalent of the best clubs in the suburbs, in the city of Chicago. So we've created this model that we believe you can be what we call a life champion off the mat, and that's a really important piece to us. But we think you can also be a wrestling champion in the city. And we proved this out at Oak Park. I don't know how many kids spilled across Austin, the border between the West Side and Oak Park, and found our wrestling program. One of them became an Olympian and world medalist, So I don't know how many of those kids we got at Oak Park who ended up being all-staters, state champion, Division I scholarship kids who, if they didn't move from the West Side, would have never had that opportunity. And so that's what we're creating. That's what we have created, and that's what we're seeing in the city. It's a matter of time, but the city high schools are going to start whipping people pretty soon.
Oh, it's going to happen.